All right, guys, we're going to be getting into another game in a different part of the bracket at the moment. We have got Snuff, who's going to be going up against Zazu in what will be a ZVZ. So we've now seen all sorts of matchups at the moment. I don't think we've even had a repeat since this tournament has started. And our ZVZ flavor of the day is about to be produced on Daybreak. We're just waiting for the GGs from the players. And then we'll be getting into this particular game on Daybreak. It looks like Zazu's already raring to go, and we're just going to be checking out Snuff. In the meantime, guys, let me just take a quick look at some of these brackets. Looks like we're just waiting for Snuff to be ready here. Any interesting... We have Hob going up against Sage in round 2. Underdark managed to defeat FXO Slavic, and MYI Flunigs managed to defeat Panda Tank, so the Swiss player defeating the South African player there. And it looks like both players are going to be ready now, so we'll take a look at the other brackets in just a bit. And there we go, the countdown has begun. We're talking in the lobby just just a little bit who is going to slay the Korean players in the final. Let's see if they are able to do that, but of course they must first get past each other. It is a ZVZ here, Snuff going up against Zazu even, blah blah blah. The map is Daybreak. As soon as I untwist my tongue, we'll get straight into the game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, spawning over here in the top right position of Daybreak in the red colors, we have Prop's very own Snuff, and he's a regular at DreamHack tournaments as well. So looking forward to seeing what he can do here. He's going to be playing against the Blue Zerg, who I confess I haven't cast before. Not 100% sure what he's made of. Let's see what he can do here. It is Zazu, otherwise known in the bracket as Rotan. And I do believe I'll be referring to him as Rotan because that's what he is in the bracket. And also, just in case he's playing on a friend's account or similar. So, just for the sake of clarity, he will be Rotan for the duration of this cast. Let's see what happens here. So, these guys really have... you can go sort of gas pool, just pool into hatch. Hatch first, potentially, I guess, if you want to be like... not bringing knife fight and potentially build order wins to horrible early pools and things like that. Both of these guys at the moment still just continuing to make drones, though. So, not too out of the ordinary. Hatch first, of course, don't necessarily lose to them, I should clarify. But, my goodness, do you have a hell of a time microing in that sort of situation. Looks like both these guys perfectly happy to go in for macro game, though. So, no problems whatsoever. We see 2 Overlords being sent out from both these players. Of course, there are a decent number of spots to hide your Overlords on this map because there are high ground quite close to a lot of the bases. So as a result, getting those Overlords across the map going to be completely and utterly fine for both these guys. This is, of course, game number 1 in a best of 3. And so far, we have completely identical builds from both of these guys. They have 16 drones and have gone for their pools at the exact same timing. We have now got a hatchery going down for Rotan just a couple of seconds earlier than Snuffer. So, once again, not too much out of the ordinary, guys. But we'll see if they choose to deviate from their tech pass a little later. A key is going to be when they take their gas. And it looks like Snuff is choosing to grab one now. This doesn't look like an extractor trick or anything like that. He is indeed going to be grabbing one. And we have no gas coming out yet from Rotan. Extra queens coming out from both players, and we have a couple of links now out on the field just to do a little bit of scouting from Snuffer. Things look relatively reasonable, and we have an Overlord getting moved into position to check out the natural expansion as well from Rotan. So good placement there. Interestingly, though, Rotan's Overlords are not in very advanced positions. I don't know if this is going to come in... if this is actually going to play a part later on in the game. But Snuffer did manage to get an Overlord at the back of the natural expansion. And in addition to that, he has the other one on the high ground here, which is basically where Rotan has his, although note it's currently on the low ground, so a little bit sloppy there. But this Overlord doesn't... Well, basically, he'll have a longer path to run to scout for tech. So it's going to be a little bit annoying for him later, potentially. But again, nothing too much to worry about at this stage of the game. So Snuffer getting in there with a couple of lings. It looks like the Queens are going to just give him a little bit of a hard time about it. And he has now started his speed. In the meantime, only now taking both gases is Rotan. So the worker count is 28 dead at the moment, with Snuffer electing for that earlier gas. And as a result, he will be getting that Zergling speed much earlier than his opponent. Will it make much of a difference, though? Let's find out what Snuffer decides to do with this potential window where he has those Zerglings and his opponent does not. We have a drone coming out here, interestingly enough. So that's possibly just a scout, but he did have some lings for that, so I wonder what's going to be going on there. Now moving on to creep, and it looks like it does actually get killed. Yep, there we go. So not 100% sure why that drone was so unbelievably macho there, guys, but it really didn't work out for him in the end. And right now, back home, we have got the Bailey Nest going up for Snuffer as well, so that signifies to me that he is willing to get pretty darn aggressive. We take a look at his Overlord spread. You can see the natural expansion. He's not that far away from the main base as well, so potentially he can suicide this Overlord in later on. In the meantime, what is Rotan's Overlord spread? Actually, it looks a lot better now from when I spoke before, but note how this Overlord has already taken damage. He just wasn't really positioning them optimally earlier on in the game, so he's going to have a little bit of a harder time scouting. But he will hopefully eventually get to roughly the same position. And Snuffer now is going to be piling on that aggression. 20 lings popping out. And he's going to go for a lot of Zergling Bang aggression here. He has stopped his workers at 42. And he's going to pull them up in his main base. And the reason he's pulling them up in his main base, guys, is because we have a lot of Overlords here from Rotan. So when Snuffer hits, he wants to be able to hit with as much of an element of surprise as possible. He doesn't want an Overlord to see 20 lings, and then he rushes in with 20, and then another 20 later on. He wants to get all 40 together and just absolutely smash him. And that looks like to be roughly the number he's going with. He has 26 here, and another 22 on the way, and here we go. He's moving out towards the middle of the map, and the Overlord certainly sees this. That is a lot of lings moving his way. Let's see what the reaction is. He has already got roaches, though, but that it really isn't that many roaches compared to the sheer number of lings here, and he is going to be going for the Evolution Chamber block at the natural expansion. Interesting choice there, but look at how many banelings we have, ladies and gentlemen. Snuffer is perfectly happy with his opponent going with those Evo Chambers because he's just going to be able to bust them the hell down. Let's see what he does here. Just verifying that the roaches are there, and here come the banelings. Oh my god, there are so unbelievably many of them here, and everything is streaming in now for Snuffer. Can Rotan hold on? The roaches are doing a good job of absorbing these baneling hits, but can Snuffer get into the mineral line? He really needs to do more with these banelings, and it looks like he just got held off. I mean, there is an Evo Chamber that's almost dead, so 2 out of 4 of the Evo Chambers did go down, but it looks... Is he going to be able to hold this off? I think he might be. The neutral supply depot randomly getting targeted in all of that fracas there, and that will burn down. The number of workers killed, guys, is 2 to 1 at the moment, so really not the most effective bust we've ever seen coming out of Snuffer, but that's not going to stop him going for round number 2. We have a lot of banelings morphing in at the front door. He is down 69 supply to 98 at the moment. Will he be able to make it? Another great SimCity move coming out of here from Rotan, forcing Snuffer to use a lot of those banelings, and all of the Evo Chambers go down. That's actually a pretty big hit there, and Snuffer giving the GG by the looks of things because the attack just wasn't good enough. Rotan holding on with that Zergling Baneling aggression. Great choice there with the Evo Chambers, and good block with the roaches. He's going to go 1-0 up in this best of 3. Alright guys, so that was a lot of banelings, I'm not going to lie. It looked like for a while that Snuffer might have been able to win that. For example, let's give an example. When he broke through the natural expansion, that wall of Evo chambers, when 2 of them went down, he broke through the first time, there was about a 15 in-game second window where he could have tried, for example, just to move 2 Banelings into the mineral line at the main base and 2 into the natural, or something like that. But he did have 5 or 6 Banelings kind of dancing around there and eventually detonating against roaches. And after they detonated against the roaches, that's when Rotan pulled the rest of his drones to fend off the remaining Zerglings. So at that point, he was like super ahead because he was 30 supply ahead and he was droning up when Snuffer wasn't. And that basically allowed the follow-up attack to be completely defendable. So all Rotan did was put up some more Evo chambers and make sure his roaches were stood in the middle. And there wasn't too much Snuffer could do about it, unfortunately. So Rotan is going to go up 1-0 here in this best of 3 series. Let's find out if he can repeat the feat right now. I think we're just going to be waiting for Snuffer to choose a map, and we'll be right back in about a minute or so, guys, hopefully, with game number 2. Don't go anywhere.